I didn't even realize. I should have looked at the little... I have a little thing open so I can see my stream, but I wasn't looking at it. But it looks like it's working again now. I guess there was something... Yeah, I guess there was something wrong. It said something with the driver, but I just opened, or like closed it and opened it, and now it's fine now. So I'll kill you right here, for you to... I swing again at him and he steps back, adjusting the grip on his pipe. He's getting ready to counterattack. Not that there's much to see anyway, I guess. It's just showing an empty classroom. The momentum in my arms carries my weapon straight into the wall, sending the plaster cracking. I let loose a scream of frustration, something that rips my throat raw and ricochets against the broken wall. From the corner of my periphery, I can register Rui clasping her hands. Yama, please stop. Is that the best you've got, kid? You still haven't landed a single hit on this old man. I don't let myself think. I just swing the pipe unblinkingly at his head, knowing that it won't hit. And Ryuta drops down, just as I suspect. His eyes widen with glee, and he swings his own pipe with one hand. Ooh, my stomach suddenly lurches back against my spine with a piercing hammer of agony. I'm sent sprawling to the ground, and Rui is screaming faintly in my ears. Yama! And then the coldness, the numbness, the emptiness, it all melts away, and I suddenly feel weary, like every footstep is being pulled through mud. The bowl of pent-up aggression in my gut is replaced with the pounding soreness from the impact of Ryuta's pipe. For a moment, I let myself lie there, splinters of wood and plaster prickling into my back. I just want to make sure everything's good. Yeah, looks like it. Prickling into my back. It would be so easy to just close my eyes and sleep. Let the whole world drift away. Get up, boy. Game's not over yet. Unless you mean to forfeit. Ah, that's right. I can't forfeit, because there's other lives on the line. Your smile's so crazy. That's what I came here for, to help these other people, to save some lives. I start to push myself up, but my abdomen clenches in pain. I gracelessly fall back to the ground, my back stinging from the tiny daggers of fragments embedded into the ground. So, no forfeit? Pity. I turn onto my side and try again. This time I lean on the remains of the desk, cradling an arm against my aching stomach. Where was that energy from a split second ago? Why am I suddenly so tired? I guess that I tend to charge ahead when I have a purpose, and without that purpose I just run on a broken engine. I needed to break the phone. Now I've broken it. What's left? Wait, how long? When will Shigeru come? Cute playboy, I see what you're trying to do. My veins fill with dread, and it takes every ounce of self-control for me to not cast a glance at the buried phone. Unfortunately for you, noise isn't an issue. You can throw a tantrum all day and no one will hear a thing. The night curfew keeps kids in the dorm court. No one's going to take a stroll around the classrooms when they could be playing football in the common room. Isn't there supposed to be like extra security though? I don't have energy to respond. I don't even feel my face move. Gradually, the cold welcoming emptiness in my mind is dissipating, replaced with a creeping sense of utter what? Something dark, black, something that feels like it's squeezing my temples and smothering my nostrils until I can't breathe. Well, that was an interesting intermission. Must be my turn again, no? He weighs the pipe casually in his hands, like he's adjusting his hold on a baseball bat, and lifts it over his shoulder. I only register his words when he steps forward, sliding closer to the boy's side. Suddenly, past the bolt of pain in my diaphragm, I'm screaming. No! What is that? Ooh! Oh, that crunching noise. I automatically close my eyes at the moment of impact, but that doesn't make the crunch of his collapsing bone any less loud. Rita struck the boy's hand this time. I keep my eyes off of it, scared at witnessing the damage for myself, but judging from the boy's shocked stare, just as bad as it sounds. But please, don't hurt him. Oh, I wouldn't worry if I were you. You'll be getting your fair share of the pain. She groans at this, loud and anguished, bubbling in her throat like a clot of blood. Breaking the phone wasn't enough. There has to be more, something else I can do. Are you enjoying this? I fill her as my mind scrambles for something more adequate. Why, yes I am, thanks for asking. And you even enjoyed the previous students? They were alright, but this little show has been the best by far. It's like playing chess against a toddler versus playing chess against a rival. One just doesn't bring that satisfying challenge, you know? I can't feel good about pulling a checkmate on a little kid who's not even potty trained. He's becoming more talkative, taking his focus off the game, even if it's just a little bit. I seize this with desperation. Maybe they were more of a challenge than you thought. I figured you out just from the clues that they dropped. This bold claim Ryuta tilts his head like a broken doll. I see the deranged gears in his head picking up speed ever so slowly. Because Ryuta doesn't like games with only pain, suffering, injury. Ryuta likes to think Ryuta is intelligent. Froze up again? It looks okay on my thing. I did just save the game, but looks okay on my screen. I have a little browser open just to make sure. Rita would look for a battle of wits just as readily. Yeah, it looks like it's working. For me. Even his pipe game, it's a twisted mix of sadism and psychology, his mind clashing against mine, trying to make me succumb to his methods. Maybe there's a way to pique his interest. Is it working for you? I'm just keeping an eye on it, but and bring the floor back into balance. It's the last hope I have. Oh, just took a refresh. Okay. Awesome. I'll try to keep a better eye on it though, because that's not good if it does that. You always were a sharp kid, weren't you? I had high expectations for you, but you exceeded every one of them. You deserve a gold star. I hope you know that a gold star isn't exactly a great incentive at the moment. Oh, but I read that positive reinforcement is better than punishment, particularly when it comes to children. To be fair, I've always thought of it as a ruse. Punishment gets results. You just need to look at history to realize that. It's because of whips and taskmasters that the ancient pyramids and the great terracotta army were built. Meanwhile, what has modern humanity done? Skyscrapers? What beauty do those hold? They're glorified prisons, cages of metal and glass, meant to trap in pathetic little animals. Is that what you consider success? Building something big? Some people just prefer happiness. Happiness? What a subjective measure of reality. At least impressive structures are tangible. They are made of strong material, carved to loom above the common populace. When you look up, you realize the depth of man's insignificance. Happiness? What can measure happiness? How many smiles I send per day? Oh, let's not forget the first world dream, living in a mansion with a Ferrari and thousands of servants. Nothing brings happiness, but so much brings awe. This is just a meaningless stall for time. but I'll take it. He's starting to warm up, and weirdly enough, so am I. Maybe happiness is subjective, but awe, does it really bring fulfillment? Doesn't it? Haven't you ever stood on the precipice of a great chasm and just thought, oh, I could just die happy at this moment? It's an unparalleled feeling in the world, child. You seem to be regarding me with skepticism. Then pray tell, what is your opinion? What makes you happy in this foolish little world? What makes me happy? You dying, Mr. Rayuta, that would make us happy. Something about the question seems to be a trap. Is he waiting for something to use against me? Is it time for another layer of psychological warfare? My friend, I could say. My friends make me happy. Then he'd point out how none of them are here. I've endangered the only one who mattered. How friends are simply an arbitrary term for a circle of useless acquaintances. All I would feel is despair. Then what else could I offer as an answer? Being alive to do what? Feel, experience, and everything that life has to offer. Then Rayuta would say that if the gift of life is enough to bring happiness, then everyone should always be happy. The slave beneath the whip, the trafficked girl in a brothel, the prisoner of war on a track, and again, I would only feel despair. What makes me happy? What fuels me to get up in the morning and keep going? Altruism? Hardly. I think most people in the world are pretty stupid and don't deserve to live. Oh, that's kind of harsh. Love? Yeah, as if I'm a fountain of affection. What is there to fuel me? What makes me happy? And anything I think of, I know that Rayuta can warp and use against me. He'll try to break me with my own words. Oh, have I been caught? A shame we had to meet under these circumstances, child. Your mental faculties are truly impressive. Do you understand the theme of my lecture? I can't say I do. Will there be a study guide? You're already in the test, boy. I'm afraid it's too late. Simply put, he who has the most drive has the most strength, and he who has the most strength has the most power. Look at you. You can't even tell me what makes you happy, whereas I gave you a confident answer. Why do you suppose that you are so powerless while I stand here invincible? You even took my lack of answer and used it against me. I try to tell myself that it was the right decision. Are you saying that you won? I'm just reporting facts. Even if I'm weaker, I can still beat you. I already beat you. Nobody was supposed to know that you're responsible for the killings. The recent ones, or the independent ones. Rita stops in his tracks, his eyes glinting. Well, whatever the independent killings were, it looks like he really was the person behind them. It's a breather that I desperately seize. I try to cover my fatigue by flinging a challenging look in his direction. You've been busier than I thought. Doesn't seem to be too hard. People don't tend to expect much of me. But you've even made friends in high places, High places? This throws me for a loop. What does he mean by high places? I got that information from Natsuki. She lives in a shabby apartment in District 6. No, I can't be distracted. I have to keep the conversation flowing, make him lose track of time. Just how many people have you killed? The Aztecs had this remarkable belief system. Would you like to hear it? I just asked a question. In order to appease the gods, to keep the universe running smoothly, they were to offer constant human sacrifices. Priests would rip out the hearts of prisoners of war while they were yet alive. If they slacked in performing this ritual, the kingdom as they knew it would fall to pieces. That's why you kill people? To keep Insamu running? What kind of reason is that? Oh, what do you think? I'm the priest? His voice drops and takes on a tint of something unfamiliar. My spine tingles in apprehension. I'm not the priest, child. I am the god. I receive bloody offerings. I do not give them myself. This city must earn my goodwill, lest I paint the streets red with my vengeance. The ones who scorned me will be obliterated by the very words of their own mouth. Dear child, who know nothing of the beauty of pure, unadulterated strength. I open my mouth, willing a snarky remark to come forth, but there's nothing. My hands are shaking, tightened against my throbbing stomach. What kind of madness has seized this guy? I strain and open my mouth wider, hoping that something will come out, anything. If I don't say anything, if I don't distract him, even if it means I have to listen to more of his insanity. Your antics amuse me, boy, but our intermission must come to an end. We must return to our little game. Too late, the opportunity has been lost, and now I'm rattled and I can't recover. In terms of psychological damage, he's won handily. I don't think it could have happened any other way. Like a puppet master overseeing a play, he has total control over every scene. Well, boy, it's your turn. What is your move? Let's see how long I can stall without him flipping out again. Stall. I can't keep hitting her. It's a pity that life doesn't change whether you can or can't do something. Why? Did that happen to you? Oh, are we having a little heart-to-heart? Then something must have happened, something that turned you bitter, or you pretty bitter. You'd love it if that were true, wouldn't you? Hurry up, the clock's ticking, boy. I have no other option, I just have to follow along. My hands shake as I step closer, raising the pipe. Maybe I can get away with hitting softer. No, it's a dumb idea. I know it's a dumb idea. Ryota would immediately know, and then he'd make me hit her again. Can't close my eyes, might accidentally kill her if my aim is off. So I keep them wide open until the air pulls tears out of them. Then I swing the pipe. Her arm hangs limply over the edge of the chair, bent in an unusual angle that raises bile to my throat. How must she be feeling at this moment? How can she stand it? Held captive for no reason, every nerve screaming fire at her, begging her consciousness to fade, but finding no relief. How can she live through that kind of miserable existence? Say, kid, you're not looking too hot. Want to call in a sick day? I doubt that's an option. I want to say something unaffected and cynical. Something that keeps me safe from the mess of the world. Instead, my mouth opens to pull up a topic to divert the conversation. You said you kill people for fun, essentially. Oh, does that bother you? I assume it would bother most people. But if I remember correctly, the Aztecs, well, they killed other strong warriors to transfer that strength to the sun. So what made you turn on a bunch of helpless students? Even as I ask the questions, the inner crevices of my mind whisper quietly. Is it worth it? Isn't this just prolonging an agonizing demise? What other option is there? Not much. Come to think of it, earlier you mentioned being an executioner. Heh, good observation, kid. Let's just say it's no coincidence that all the victims are connected to Ikari's son, How fun. You're about to join that number. This makes me falter. Of course, if Yahiko isn't the killer, but has a connection to every single victim, it has to bear significance. How could I have overlooked that? What do you even have against Yahiko? He's harmless, he's gentle. He feels like a little kid in a broken world, something so stupidly innocent that it's refreshing. I have nothing against Yahiko. You're asking the wrong question. He has nothing against Yahiko, but he's killing people close to him. That's an incredibly drastic maneuver. Why would a serial killer suddenly focus his attentions on someone like Yahiko? No matter how hard I think, the answer eludes me. But I can't falter. I can't let him remember to continue the game. Think. If I were Yuta, if I were some psychotic man who loved to kill people, no, inflict extreme agony, Then why would I do such a thing? What is Yahiko that I'm not? What does Yahiko have that I don't? He has government. Yahiko is arrogant, a dreamer, easily excitable, oblivious. No, these are personality traits. Think deeper. Motive. The Ikari's son, Rita said before. The Ikari's. If it doesn't have to do with past history, then why? Or they don't really know each other that well after all. Then it's because of money? Money? Connections? Yahiko is the son of two higher-ups at Lemniscate. If Rita doesn't have anything against Yahiko, then could he have something against his parents? If you were aiming for Yahiko's parents, it seems a lot more effective to target the people around them. Still have that brain of yours, I see. Yes and no, since Yahiko is just an easy avenue to his parents. But targeting the people around the parents themselves, instant suspicion, not to mention artless and cliché. I thought you'd be smarter than that. A little thought bothers me. Why is he so open with his information? Because he's gonna kill you all after. No, I don't have time to consider this right now. I just have to accept it. Think more. I am rude to even now. I want to see blood, to hear screams, to. No, something is clashing. Students aren't a challenge. They're too easy for me. They're wretched pests. Their deaths are simple and insignificant. They will be remembered for what? A day? 2, perhaps 5 years by their families? But eventually they will fade into inconsequential nothingness because they are young and meaningless. Another tally in a long list of missing persons. Whereas if I could get my hands on a politician, or a world leader, or even a company executive, mourning for weeks, months, years, remembrance in history books. The man who killed the king, or the president, or the emperor, I shall make my mark on society forever, a beautiful thread filling up the space of an intricate tapestry. But instead, I've decided to kill students, to capture insignificant little rodents just to put pressure on the Ikari family. What a joke. Why am I even doing this? The Ikari family is threatening me? No, certainly my judgment would be more swift. I would care not about my own death as long as I could have them suffer first. Were they threatening me? I would see them in their rooms the next night with a knife in my hand and a grin on my face. Capital punishment would be insignificant. I would face the chopping block gladly in that case. Money, perhaps someone is commissioning me with a monetary incentive. As if I'm paid in blood, currency is of little value to my psyche. If I really needed the pocket change, a few black market inquiries would do. Perhaps I needed something money cannot buy, something that only a certain commissioner has. The only way to get it is to pressure the Ikaris, even if it means killing rabbits. To do that, I started with someone only significant or slightly related to Yahiko, Midori Mino. They would not even notice Yahiko may mourn, the compassionate imbecile, but to the Ikaris it's just an insignificant disappearance. Then to Mahayashi, who interacted with their son on a greater level in the orientation group that Yahiko led. That may raise some eyebrows and call for suspicion, but nothing that the Ikaris can prove. Next is Akane Tsukino, girlfriend of Shoji, who was close to Yahiko due to the Happy Club. Shoji himself followed thereafter. A spiral of people, with Yahiko Ikari at its center. The poor soul would not understand what was going on, but surely his parents would. And in return I would receive something of enormous value, something that money cannot buy, even if it means that I must sacrifice a portion of my dignity. What the heck? Yay! Yama? You, Rita, are on someone else's payroll? You are a freelancer with a client? You are no artist, you have no satisfaction. How the mighty have fallen, once a predator feared by all, able to strike whenever and wherever he so pleased, now a mindless guillotine with no will of its own. How great is your greed that you will betray your love of art for this. But oh, you fool, you have conquered dogs and rats. Silence. His voice teems of ice, and I feel his psyche writhing in humiliation, and it's just so thrilling. When they screamed how easy it must have been to forget, just as a man can distract himself with symphonies so he can distract himself with agony. When you returned, when you lay your head on your pillow, you must have realized the bitterness of your own insignificance. Rabbits, pawns, you are pest control. Do not test me, boy. But I'm caught up in the euphoria, a welcome distraction from the never-ending cycle of pain and panic that plagued me before. Selling your soul for a delusion, a pittance. Do you never wish to go back to happier times, a time where you were a shadow with a name? The independent killings, nothing is more fearsome than the unknown. The people who knew about them, were they terrified? Did they huddle in their beds every night, unable to sleep, thinking that they could be next? Did it stroke your ego, knowing that the one who held their fate in his hands was you? Or were those killings also at the discretion of your employer? Were there further connections that the police simply could not deduce? Was that also a primeval commission? Rita grits his teeth and digs his fingers into the nearest desk, but he doesn't say a word. Then I'm right about everything. Yeah, that's a weird laugh. Here you are, the fearsome Cerberus, yet you are bound to a pathetic little leash. Caught up in the corporate politics at that, where there's nothing but bigwigs bickering like toddlers. What exactly do you need so badly? Oh, look at his face. I can't imagine you'd be craving love or friendship. Give me a quick reminder. What else can money not buy? Respect, naturally good looks, peace of mind, or say an honest politician? Motives, Rita. Motives are interesting ones, aren't they? Everybody likes to think that their motive is special and unique, but in the end, they're all the same. Money, love, power. Which of those apply to you? Or do you still think that you're all that special, that you're something more than an empty little puppet dancing from the strings of someone's fingers? What a sick existence, what an agonizing, wonderfully meaningless existence. Yama, stop it. This is not winning. Ray's voice shocks me out of character. Like a fish suddenly pulled out of water, I stand idly for a moment, my mind blank. Not winning. Of course. I want to win over Ryuta. I wanted it so badly that it even became Ryuta, and I let myself stay as him, even though I despise him more than I've ever despised anyone. Even that isn't winning, that's just losing. Because to become Ryuta, wouldn't just be to win the battle and lose the war. I'm already inflicting injury on innocent students with a metal pipe, just like Ryuta would. If I lost my mind. Cute display kid, real cute. He's smiling assuredly, already recovered. His voice is calm, but I catch a note of tension that wasn't there before. I get the impression that I made a terrible mistake, and if I had proceeded, well, he would have snapped, and then he would have killed you all. What would happen if he snapped? Would we all look like these two students bound to their chairs, broken, helpless, pleading for their death? I should have tried. But what else should I have done? Just gone along with the status quo? Would that have resulted in anything different? Know what's interesting? You're still missing something, aren't you? You think you've read the whole book, but you think you know how it ends. You think you know the whole pattern, but you're still blind. You see out of one eye, boy, but not the other. Missing a pattern, or part of the pattern. I don't understand. Think harder, boy. So the sequence of deaths has to do with Yahiko. So what? So what? Broken gear in the back of my mind slowly begins to turn forward. Right, all the deaths revolve around Yahiko. Specifically, over time, those deaths has gotten closer and closer to their epicenter. Almost like a whirlpool sucking in its surroundings. Closer to Yahiko. Then, the school, the closest people to Yahiko, are me, Rui, and Masato. The inseparable gang that hangs out together day in, day out, flailing through life with a bunch of rambunctious high school shenanigans. Of course, That's why he'd instantly picked up the phone. That's why he'd been prepared for my call. Why he kidnapped Rui. Because we were already the next ones on his list. No. Oh, that was quick. Congratulations. To be honest, boy, the Kurogain boy should be here too. But guess what? He goes to bed too early, out like a light, doesn't answer his phone. I even prepared my whole excuse and everything. I suddenly feel so very tired, weighed down. My intellect is fraying away. I can feel my sanity bleeding into my body. Just let it end. It was all planned from the very beginning. I can't keep holding out. I can't prolong this misery. Try to one-up Rita and I only end up in a worse state than before. If that trend continues, my eyes drift aimlessly to the ground, the pipe swaying limply between my fingers. Blood dripping quietly from the chair, a small amount, a terrifyingly small amount, given how much damage was inflicted. How much internal bleeding must there be? How much pain? Now I know Ryuta's motive and history, so what? So these guys are just having like a conversation while those people are like bleeding, have internal bleeding and pain. I'm still an accomplice in manslaughter, bit by bit, wiping out the opportunities in this girl's life. The dream of playing on a sports team, being a pianist, marrying a normal guy and having normal kids. Shamelessly and brutally striking those dreams from existence with no method of recovery. Well, they could still recover if someone comes to rescue them. She's someone who actually has opportunities in life and they're being taken away by someone else. The injustice of the world. You better be grateful that I'm a patient man. A lesser being would have peeled your forearm in layers for your insolence. The mental image pulses in front of my eyelids and I stumble backward, nausea surging to my throat. That's right. I'm just a kid trying to fight a seasoned serial killer. What was I thinking? I use my hands and push against the desk, shakily trying to prop myself on my feet. I only collapse bonelessly to the ground, legs like gelatin. I can't continue this way, not much longer. I see blood on the edge of the pipe in my hands, blood that's not there, blood that I know isn't there, but blood that still weeps down the metal and coats my hands. All is silent save for the strangled sobs of two injured children, two dying siblings side by side. I'm sorry, I'm sorry. Well, guess it's my turn again. You know, I'm really giving you an advantage here by going first. Now you'll always be one hit ahead. Please, just stop. He ignores my faint whisper and steps forward, adjusting his grip on the pipe. The boy whimpers, incomprehensible words spilling out of his mouth. Sorry, kids, but the world doesn't listen to begging, and neither will I. He swings the pipe down with vindictive justice, perhaps a payback for my insolence. I flinch instinctively this time, barely missing the moment of impact. Oh, that noise. And then a chair screeching against the ground, a piercing scream that rent the air, a light, sweet chuckle from a man who's lost his mind. As I force my eyes open, I catch an unfamiliar, pungent smell. Vomit, dripping from the boy's mouth, pooling over the side of his chair to the floor below. My stomach turns over. My grip rattles against the pipe. Oh yes, this is life, children. The beauty of pain has no substitute. I step forward, forcing words out of my dry mouth. Well, we need to stop. I can't handle this. Rita swivels on me, the joy in his eyes immediately dissipating. We're just getting to the good part. You're saying you're gonna forfeit? Quitters never prosper, boy, and you wonder why you never prospered. Drop to my knees harder than I intended, the shakiness of my limbs give my legs a solid blow against the ground. This is no longer an act. Groveling and showing vulnerability is not just another strategy anymore. I have no other way out, no other hope. Please, don't do this. Do what? Can't find the words when I only sweep my hand around the room. Oh, all of this? The whole captivity thing? The game? The fun? I manage to nod. Then, will you lick my shoe? He stamps a foot in the puddle of the boy's vomit, shaking it teasingly at me. I don't make a move. I'm waiting. I open my mouth, fighting for words. Nothing comes. The vomit gleams on the sole of his shoe, mocking me. Rory makes an instinctive sound of distress, gripping her chair with whitened hands. I stare at the shoe, willing myself to lean forward. I don't move. You see, boy, you're not ready to really beg. Why? Because you still cling to your pride, pathetic as it is. You literally said begging doesn't get you anywhere and you won't listen to it, so... Whatever, Mr. Reed. Some part of you believes that you still have control over the situation. Some part of you believes that some miracle will bail you out. If you were really ready to beg, if you really threw away your pride, you wouldn't be aiming for the limbs, no? When you hold that pipe, you would be aiming right at the skull. That is your only hope right now, the only hope of all of you, death. But sadly for you, I don't like to rush my executions. It's just such a waste. I shakily clamber to my feet, weighing my arms to the table to pull myself up. Pride, belief, control over the situation. Do I really have any of those things? Maybe he's right. Maybe if I really was hopeless, I would have already crushed 2 skulls and resigned myself to a long, excruciating death. Here I stand with the pipe, ready to hit again. Why? So now that your little dramatic stint has ended, I believe it's time for your turn. He tilts his knife against the moonlight in Rue's direction, sending a fresh reminder of the stakes. Oh. So, you don't like to rush? I know your little tricks, boy, and I'm not in the mood to entertain them. Well, he seems impatient. I grip the pipe, arm shaking as I raise it over my shoulder. But aren't you stuck here forever? The fight isn't getting too tiring. Aren't you exhausted? You're not strong enough to face this. I shake my head and squeeze my eyes shut, trying to knock the voices out of my head. We can't do this, Yamat. This is wrong. We can't. I swing the pipe. Oh. No. The pipe drops out of my shaking fingers. I lean heavily against the nearest desk, my knees too weak to support my weight. I can't do this. Oh, sure you can. You're doing great. Rita lifts the pipe over the boy, whose face is coaxed in a mixture of sweat and tears, slicking his hair against his forehead. The boy's eyes slide to mine, begging silently, hating the day he was born. Rita sends an icy smirk with a sheen of madness, reminding me of my earlier behavior. Payback, he seems to be saying. But I do nothing. Oh. The note is raw this time, raw from an overused throat that's been screaming far more than it should. When it descends into silence, I can hear the breaths of the 2 students rattling in their lungs, shallow and anguished. Blood is starting to trickle from their mouths slowly down the corner of their jaw and dripping onto their pristine uniforms. Death would be the far better option. How much time has passed feels like days stretched out and pushed against each other. Practically, I know that it can't be more than a few hours. The sun hasn't started rising, but holding out for this long only seems like delaying the inevitable. In the meantime, harming innocent along the way. Why did it have to be you? Who? Be specific, boy. I wished it wasn't you. Shape up and tell me. Ambiguity helps no one. You shouldn't have been the killer, Rita. He was supposed to help me. Get through high school, through drama, through life. Not this, never this. I thought you were with us. Why? Do you feel betrayed? I thought of all people, it wouldn't be you. Unfortunately, that is all fallacy in your own thinking. But why? Why you? You know nothing, boy. Quit your dawdling. I raise the pipe, my grip falters as my eyes turn to the girl. She She no longer has hate in her gaze. She doesn't even have the slightest hint of anguish. Everything is just empty. I whispered again, the trivial excuse that does nothing to help the situation. I'm sorry. This time, though, she responds quietly, moving nothing but her mouth. I know. And I swing the pipe. Oh, I hate that noise. The blow rebounds against my arm as the bone of her leg fractures beneath the hard metal. The resulting scream is just another repeat, another skip on a broken record player. I falter backward, the pipe rubbing my hands raw, reminds me that every bent limb, every cry of pain is all my own doing. No one held my arm, no one swung the pipe. Every blow was my choice. No one bears that blame but me. And I don't know if I can continue to hold out. There's no sign of sirens in the distance, no janitor making his rounds, not even a student in sight. Just 4 teenagers and a serial killer with a knife. That and one solid pipe in my hands. I could say that I don't know what to do. I could say that I'm helpless. But it would be far more accurate to say that I know exactly what to do and I'm just too scared to do it. What, no begging this time? Why, I'm almost disappointed. He strikes the boy again, a brutal blow that crushes his fingers. The boy retches as he screeches, choking on his own vomit, the wet, crumpled cough that results in far more painful to hear than any scream. It's the sound of a human who is slowly dying. Stop it, please, somehow. I step to the side of the girl, gripping the pipe so tightly that its rough patches begin to dig into my palm. I've gathered enough time. I've tried my best. The police aren't coming. Yeah, Shigeru failed. Jeebus. In a situation where there should have been a way out, any way out, there is none. The only relief I can bring is by murdering as many of these students as I can. Murder. I've heard so many times that taking life changes you, that once you get blood on your hands, you stop being human. Will that happen in this case, killing this girl, turning me into a monster? I don't know. I just know that there are 3 innocent students here, and if I don't do something, they'll be stuck in this never-ending cycle of agony. And it would have been better if they had just died earlier. It would have been better if I just killed them earlier. I don't want this, but is there any other choice? I just want everyone to be okay. And we already know that attacking Ryuta doesn't work. He overpowers us and we die, so that's the only option, but I falter. I stand stiffly, the pipe frozen in my hands. Should I just hit her without a killing blow and let the game continue? I can't kill her just to take the easy way out. But I don't think I can keep sustaining my sanity. It would be easy. Everything would be over. I don't need to bear this burden. This is what my mind is whispering to me, but I don't know whether to trust it or not. If I could see the ending, I would know. If we somehow end up getting out of this, then wouldn't you be glad to be alive even with those injuries, because at least she has a second chance at life? This painless suffering, it'll hurt, it'll scar, but maybe she could find her dream career or marry a wonderful husband, something that makes living worthwhile. But if we don't get out of this, if this is the only thing that's in store for us, is an agonizing death, against which we're fighting is futility. It would have been better if I just killed her in the very first stroke. How can I make that judgment? How can I possibly predict that burden? Can I really choose to end someone's life with my own hands? I can't see the ending. I don't understand fate. I wish I could know the answer, but there's nothing for me. No one can see the future. If you dawdle any longer, kid, Roy gets the short end of the stick. Or the pipe, however you prefer to say it. No more time, no more chances. I've held out as long as I could. I raise the pipe over my head, aiming it directly in line with the girl's skull. She smiles tremulously in understanding and closes her eyes. Acceptance, perhaps even gratitude, because somehow we've landed in a situation where a quick death is more merciful. What if I had been faster? What if I had been smarter? If I had caught Rita before today, none of this would have happened. Why did I sit still in one place and allow this to happen? My arms shake as I will them to descend. I can't hesitate. I need to strike decisively. If I don't, the results will only be unconsciousness. I was bred that wrong, and a splitting headache, and no clean death. The girl doesn't deserve to wake up again in this nightmare. No one does. With that, I guess it's time to become her murderer. I raise the pipe even higher, counting softly in my head. 3. I'm sorry it wasn't enough. 2. I'm sorry you had to face this. 1. Then from outside the windows, lights blast into the classroom, followed by the shrill overtones of a megaphone. Oh! Really? Do you ready to stand down? You are surrounded. She did come. Release the students or we will shoot you. Am I hearing things? Is my mind so desperate for reprieve that it's throwing up whatever it can to stop my pipe? My eyes instinctively search out Louise. Her expression is a mess. Horror mixed with sorrow, mixed with relief. It's real then. She grew Cain. No, wait, it's not over. We're still in this room with Ryuta. Yeah, he could kill you before the police get in there. 2 students are still in very dangerous positions where they might lose their lives. Glance at Ryuta. He's frozen in shock, his hands automatically patting down his pockets, searching for his phone. It's good that we broke that phone. The phone that I'd smashed to pieces with a metal pipe. I just solidifies my suspicion he would have been notified if I hadn't managed to break that phone. Why Ryuta's still in shock, we have to run now or chase us. He won't be able to stop himself from chasing us. So I guess the people in the chairs will save them. I lock eyes with Rui, then jerk my head to the door. Thankfully, Ryuta is still transfixed on the scene outside, mouth agape in disbelief. Rui quietly slides from her desk and slides along the wall. Painful inch by painful inch, she comes closer. Hey. I immediately seize her hand and we tear off, running as fast as we can on shaky legs. We don't spare any words, we only shoot up the stairs and breaking onto the rooftop. The smart thing for her to do would be staying right where he is, using the 2 remaining students as hostages to secure the escape. But he won't do that. He'll chase after us, furious, bowling anything out of his way to reach us in time. So at this moment, the best thing we can do is run. The rooftop though, you'll be trapped. The air is bitingly cold, it blasts at our faces as I lead Rui to the edge without a break in stride. See the line that goes through this row post? Pots? Jump over the edge there. What? Jump. To her credit, she does, leaping over the low railing of the rooftop and plummeting to the ground below. Except it's not the ground, the school pool. The pool over which Yahiko, Masato, and I stood last year with umbrellas in hand, testing if we could somehow fly with them. I hated Yahiko for weeks after that moment. I never thought I'd be grateful to have joined them. Rui lands safely with a splash and scrambles to the side as fast as she can. I force myself to wait for a few agonizing moments for her to swim out of the way, then vault over the edge and... Oh no you don't. An overpowering hand snatches my collar and yanks me back, crushing my windpipe against my jacket. I'm slammed against the ground off the rooftop, flat on my back. Yuta stands over me, knife loosely handled between his fingers, toying with the edge of my collar with the tip of its blade. His entire face is saturated in a terrifying mixture of fury and ecstasy, something that sends chills down my spine. Cute, really boy, that was quite cute. He lifts me up and presses me against the railing, setting the flat of his blade against my cheek. Oh no, it can't end this way. What a good-hearted soul, ensuring the escape of Rui before you jumped. Someone like you needs a reward. He abruptly turns the knife until the edge rests lightly on my cheekbone. I flinch instinctively, which only broadens his grin. If you want to beg, boy, now would be the time to do it. Like a rat sprinting through a maze, searching for its only chance at exiting, my mind races for a solution. Something, anything. No, nothing. Wait. Do you not wish to play a bigger role in society than an inconsequential pawn against the king of of life? Or will you restrict yourself to the confines of your own ability just because of work? One last chance. Is this being vaguely specific? I look Rita square in the eye, willing my voice to be steady with every last bit of my strength. She was disappointed in you, wasn't she? The result is immediate. Rita's grin drops, and the grip on his knife loosens just slightly. His eyes turn completely blank, unseeing. I know for certain that in his mind he's recalling a dark moment, a terrifying moment, something locked away that he'd never let himself know, let alone a stranger. Remembering tears of regret, a whispered phrase, words that have haunted nightmares as every day since they were uttered. I don't allow myself to dwell on the thought. Before I get a grasp on what I'm doing, I'm already seizing the handle of Rita's knife and turning the blade. Ooh! Shoving it with more force than I'd ever exerted in my life, driving the tip right through his abdomen. His body jerks like a rag doll, but not a word passes his lips. The only sound I hear is a squelch of tissue and organs against metal. For a moment, there's silence, broken only by the distant flare of police sirens. His grip loosens and his weight falls on my shoulder, driving my arm painfully against the railing. A ragged whisper drifts to my ears. Such is our lot, Yama Ishimoto. We are a disappointment. Then, with sudden strength, he grips my shoulders and tumbles over the railing, pulling me with him. My stomach lurches at the terrifying grasp of gravity as we plummet to the school pool below. Falling from the school roof, seized by a serial killer. This is what my existence has been. One struggle for life after another, a constant misstep, a wandering into the wrong direction. Now left with two innocent teenagers, broken and bleeding, their minds irreparable even if their bodies are not. A man once intelligent, once admirable, now driven mad, a knife fixed in his stomach. Clean and polished school ruined forever by a legacy of violence. And who knows how many lives shattered. Well, at least the kids aren't dead. They can, heal. The air tears at my face and clothes, screaming past my ears, Rita's blood flies from his wound, coating the front of my jacket. Ah, that's right, I stabbed someone. We crash into the pool with stinging force. Tendrils of blood disperse into the chlorinated water like spider silk. Rita's iron grip on my shoulder loosens at the impact. Bubbles gurgle from his lips, brushing past my face as they pop to the surface. I'm no longer holding the knife, but I still feel the form and weight of its handle between my fingers. This is what I've done. For a moment, I let myself drift in the freezing water. There's no point in swimming up to the surface, really. Wouldn't it just be easier to drift away? Come back up to the world and I'll face a long hospital trip, a court case, catching up on essays about second wave world civilizations and worksheets on deriving trigonomic theorems. Take the exams, go to some university, major in something or another, get a white-collar job, marry, have kids, die. That makes life sound really depressing. All this after trashing another human being system to a pulp, someone who might not recover physically and who will never recover emotionally. Is there even a point? Oh my gosh, existence. Nihilism. The belief that there's no meaning, no value, nothing to life. I can't even pronunciate. I vaguely remember being terrified of the notion when I'd first heard about it in class. Most students just laughed it off. How stupid, how depressing. Life has no purpose for a made-up that has issues. But it was too close to me, living a life of homework, keeping my head down, and going through each day, wondering where I was and what I was doing. Maybe I've been trying too hard to find meaning where there is none. Maybe I've been desperately grasping for straws to find some kind of significance in an inconsequential existence. Thanks for the little thunderbolt, Miracle Man. From a strictly technical point of view, this is not the time to be thinking. Thick, please. Physiological thoughts. Being at the bottom of a pool, just an arm's reach away from a serial killer, probably with only 30 seconds left before I run out of breath and starting to drown. Well, yeah, he can't even swim, so how could he get out? Any sensible person would leave the Socrates session for another day and wait until all basic needs are met first. Guess I'm not as sensible as I thought. Either that, or I can't bring myself to be. You can lead a student to air, but you can't make him breathe. That's how the saying should go. Maybe. I should just sleep. I suddenly feel so tired. I have to stop streaming soon. I wanted to finish this game, but I don't know if I can before. Oh, that flash. I think I've been here before. That's right. This is a familiar road. This is a sign at the intersection, I think. It's rickety and rusted, worn from use. There's no words on it, just two arrows, one pointing forward, one pointing backward. I'd just like to stay here. Fork in the road is such a dangerous thing. Left, right, a one-time decision, and if it turns out that you run into an obstacle, then you'll find yourself wishing that you made the other choice. Then don't you start overthinking everything? What if I'd taken the other road? What if the other road was worse? What if there was another road, if I'd only looked harder? What if I hadn't taken a road at all? What if I'd gone backwards? Two roads diverged in a wood, and I took the one less traveled by. And that has made all the difference. A poem written by Robert Frost, originally intended to be a simple teasing joke and a playful satire at indecision. But people saw it as something else. Even though they weren't poets, they started adding their own kinds of verses to the composition. Independence, individualism, science, discovery, curiosity, free will, and the human condition. Poor Robert Frost, suddenly he had written an entirely different poem, even without touching his pen. Two roads diverged in a wood, and I took. Heavily medicated doctor, anytime he's coherent, he thrashes around. We have to sedate him every time. How long? 2 weeks. The record. Here, sir. I assume that when he screams for her, he's referring to the other patient. We think so, sir, but she's still recovering with therapy. We haven't been able to get her in here. It's her progress. She started speaking in after her parents came with the photo album. We're also hoping that the daily fresh air will help her walk. And how about her arm? Psychosomatic, like her legs, will be monitoring over therapy. Good, she'll likely be our fastest ticket to this recovery. Or to his recovery. But it might be a while before Ms. Hayata is able to... Rui? Ah, Mr. Ishimoto, are you awake? Can you see me? Rui? Mr. Ishimoto, can you tell me? Where's Rui? Where did you take her? She's supposed to be safe here, or here safe. Hold him down. Show me Rui. My own two eyes. The eyes of Pam. Give her back. Give her. They gave you drugs. Here comes a candle to light you to bed. Here comes a chopper to chop off your head. Chip chop, the last man's dead. Sometimes I really wonder about children's nursery rhymes. Why do we let young kids listen to such twisted ideologies? Children aren't supposed to deal with that kind of stuff. They're supposed to be innocent. Jack and Jill went up the hill to fetch a pail of water. Jack fell down and our world suddenly feels warm. What is that? Why is this happening? Or why is it happening? Suddenly I get the impression that I'm awake. I think someone's holding my hand. The tips of my fingers feel warm, like they're being cradled in a loving palm. Everything else is blinding light that drills into the back of my eyes. Home. Home is here. Home. Finally got to visit you. I'm sorry for the wait. I had to go through therapy to start talking again. I know that the whole thing is over thanks to you, but whenever I close my eyes, I guess I'm really thankful that the doctors could help me. I just hope that'll be the same for you. Well, I'll let you rest up. You'll need a lot of it. Oh, and this whole thing? The doctor says I'll be out of it in a week. It's apparently all in my head. Honestly though, the wheelchair's not all that bad. I kind of feel like royalty. You know how they had those, were all, what are they called, sedans? And they got carried around all the time? I guess this feels like that. Oh, and Yama? I love laughing at your grades. So hurry up and get well, dummy. I thought she was gonna say it. I dream a little longer. My dreams are softer now, a little more delicate, like lace instead of sandpaper. Well, hopefully they found the guy's accomplice. Aw, look, it's little Yama. I see a young kid grasping the hand of his older sister. In another world, that kid grows up to be more confident, more assured. He learns how to deal with bullies so that he won't bother his sister. He learns how to study hard and make friends, play soccer, like all the other boys his age. He doesn't withdraw, lost in his room. He doesn't keep to himself on the playground. He's happy. He's a happy young boy who turns into a happy teenager. He goes to the prestigious middle school in the area, the academy, to follow in his sister's footsteps, because his family never left the city. His family never fled to a suburban little town 3 hours away for Insimu. His family stayed because in this other world there was never an event that had to do with a bus, a blizzard, a loose tread, a frozen river. So the young boy also stayed. Maybe he meets a lively orange-haired girl at the middle school. Maybe he befriends her because she's lovable and bright and impossible to dislike. Or maybe he doesn't. Maybe he falls in with a different crowd, a sea of faces that play soccer and grab ramen on snowy days and study in the library when it's raining. Either way, he flourishes, lives his life, maybe dates once or twice. He studies hard for the college entrance exams, and he passes with flying colors in this other world. He makes it into the university of his dreams. He studies something that he loves. Gradually finds a girl, gets married. Maybe she has orange hair, maybe she doesn't. He finds a good job, has kids, smiles like an idiot when his daughter wraps her fingers around his pinky. He'll name her after his sister, the one who's alive and well, who married a decent guy and had kids of her own. Then that boy who turned into a teenager, who turned into a man, will wake up one day and he'll be happy, he'll be whole, and he'll be wondering if this was all there is to life. Well, that sounds pretty good. My eyes peel open sluggishly like they haven't done so for a decade. My muscles feel weak and lifeless. Spindled slugs on the sidewalk, my throat's dry, my head is smarting. So, looks like I'm in the hospital. I notice that a nurse is at my bedside, fiddling with the IV drop on the table. She seems tired, drawn eyes, tight frown. Clear my throat to get her attention. Excuse me. The words eject in a queasy croak. The nurse jumps at the raw noise, but relaxes when she notices me. Oh, wonderful, you're awake. Her voice is chipper, but I notice how she eyes me with caution, like I'll lunge out of bed and strangle her if she makes any sudden move. Will you be uploading this full playthrough to your YouTube channel? Actually, I have it so all my videos save on YouTube, so yeah, it will be up there. Not in one long video, but you know, in the parts. And I'll probably, when I have time, I'll put like part 1, 2, and 3, so it's easier. Most of the game was like just a lot of filler stuff. It was near the end that everything got more interesting anyway. Yeah, so move. Do you remember your name? Oh, Twitch videos are buffering. Okay. Yama Ishimoto. Good, do you remember how you got here? By ambulance, I'd assume. I wheeze and dry laughter, everything's Everything seems funny. The nurse eyes me for a minute, then presses the intercom. I think I'm gonna have to stop streaming. I wanted to finish it, but I think the ending's quite long. I'll just try to. Okay, Dr. LePage, wait, can you speak with him? They give me a basic physical exam followed by a psychological inventory. I give all the answers I think are correct and expect a minute release. I'm ready to get back to my life. Instead, they take me to a room with a plush couch and a contemporary lamp. One man sits in an armchair and tries to get me to talk about my life. Therapy I've been through too many times has gotten quite old over the years. I'm so familiar with the proceedings that I resign myself to playing mind games with the therapist. Can I predict before he asks? Can I redirect his questions? But it's not such a smooth and humorous process. Therapy makes me recall everything. Breaking limbs with a pipe, my own two hands, driving myself insane, stabbing someone in the gut. During the first session, I black out. Tell me later that I crumbled into a ball and refused to respond to anything until Rui came. Rui, now out of her wheelchair. I've been in the hospital for 2 months, she said. Rui holds my hand in the next session. I squeeze it until I'm afraid I'll snap her fingers, just like I snapped those fingers. She whispers, "You're innocent, don't you worry. It was all Rita's fault, your victim." I still feel blood on my hands whenever the sessions are over. I go to the bathroom to wash my hands once, twice, 5 times over. It still runs slick and steadily over my wrists into my forearms when I exit the bathroom. I stop speaking for a few days. There's nothing to talk about. I have too many sounds to remember, too much thrumming in the space of my ears. Rui sits by me, feeds me when I have no strength to lift the spoon, pulls the covers up to my chin like my mom should have done. She tells me stories: a princess in the night, a detective and a bar singer, a celebrity and a unfortunate grocer. Some days I just sit and hold her hand, watching her eyes dance as she paints imaginary canvases with her words. Speaking so much tires her out quickly. Sometimes she nods off in the middle of a sentence, so I lean her head on my shoulder and listen to the even rhythm of her breathing or breath. It's softer than the discord in my brain. Sometimes it lulls me to sleep too. Then comes a session where I remember everything, every last bit, and I lose consciousness again. They say that they found me standing on the hospital rooftop, leaning against the banister with my arms spread wide, as if I was welcoming the city into a warm embrace. They instantly rushed me down, terrified that I'd try to kill myself. "Calm down," I said. My smile was distant. I was just enjoying the view. They didn't believe me, so I'm confined to my room for a while. No one is allowed to see me except Rui, not even my own parents. They say it's because I didn't react well to their presence when I was delirious. So like the beast with his beauty, I'm holed up in a hospital room, counting the days until I can pass a psychology inventory. Rui brings gifts from the others, envelopes and gift-wrapped boxes in overly large bags that could only be funded by Yahiko's purse. They're nice and the thought is touching, but I tell Rui to return them all. We plan on staying here, keeping the blood on my hands in one room. Rui cries every time, a heartbreaking, frustrated kind of crying, as she punches me in the shoulder and yells that it's not my fault, it's Rita's. Why can't I get that through my head? But even if my brain agrees, my hands remember the scratchiness of the pipe, the vibration of each tremble and terrible impact, the oozing, sinking feeling of a knife sinking into flesh. So I can only kiss her on the forehead and thank her for staying with me. She doesn't blush, she doesn't even look remotely embarrassed. In fact, I think the gesture only makes her angrier. "We're gonna make you well, Yama," she screams out of the window, like some kind of oath. "You're gonna be just fine." I attend more sessions, stay isolated from family and friends. My parents pay for the sessions, but I see nothing more of them. Legally, they're allowed to see me, but they don't insist. They probably don't really want to see me anyway. They haven't for years. More days slip by. I wonder if our friends have moved on from their life or with their lives, gone back to school, prepared for university exams, started dating. When I start speaking again, I ask Rory how long we've been at the hospital. 2 months and 2 weeks, she says. Is that it? It feels so much longer. I continue sessions, go for walks, eat hospital food. I think I start to heal because the world feels a little less empty with each passing day. It's not my fault. Decide to say this to the mirror every morning, even if I don't believe it. Maybe if I say it enough, maybe if I raise my chin and put my hands on my hips, maybe if I act like I believe it, then I'll believe it. It's not my fault. It's not my fault. It's not my fault. Stare into my reflection, meaningless words pouring from my lips. Mirror, mirror on the wall, who's the most broken of them all? Seems to whisper back. Broken you may be, young man, but I see one broken more still. This one with nothing but blood in his eyes, and no person to love, someone who fell into darkness until one day, to ease his pain, he suddenly becomes a serial killer. Mirror, mirror, couldn't I have become that man myself? In another world, a boy damaged by an accident, growing up alone and reserved, with nothing but the shadows of his constant companion. That boy could grow up into a twisted teenager who could grow into a twisted man. But I think I understand. None of that happened. What more do I need to worry about? Maybe if I disfigured an innocent student, maybe I stabbed a human being, maybe I took part in a nightmare that never should have been dreamt. But in this world, in these circumstances, I'm not a twisted, lonely little boy. I grew up showered with love, surrounded by friends, given an ordinary school life. This is a long ending. The me standing here and now wouldn't involuntarily lift a pipe or a knife to hurt someone without purpose, because I'm not anyone else. Eventually I stopped talking to my reflection. I stopped washing my hands every half hour. I feel at peace, I think. At the very least, I stopped blacking out. Rory says that it has been 3 months since our hospitalization. Anson is now deep in the hold of summer with a blazing July sun and humid forest wind. School is probably back in session. It doesn't stop us from receiving gifts, cards, letters, candy. Rory gets swamped by them. Of course, surprisingly, even I receive a few. This time, I return them for a different reason. Not because I plan on cutting off outer contact, but because I plan on seeing them in person. The both of us go through more psychology tests. This time, they seem happier with our response, because they finally open the doors. I don't expect visitors, to be honest. Although I'm no longer bedridden after taking walks around the hospital wing, I expect that the others have gone on with their lives. 3 months is a long time in the hurried pace of a student, but to my surprise, the moment that the hospital lifts my quarantine, 2 figures race into the room in a blur. Minion! It's Yahiko and Masato, dressed in their school uniforms. They're practically bursting with energy. For some reason, seeing them brings tears to my eyes. Embarrassed, I turn away. Dude, these past months have felt like forever. I can't believe this happened. And I'm gonna have to stop streaming. I really wanted to finish this so I could start, a game fresh next time, but I'm not going to be able to. So I'll finish this game. The next game I wanted to stream is called The Wolf Among Us. If anyone's interested, it looks pretty cool. And I won't have to read the all the commentary, which I don't mind doing, but it's just, I like to actually get into other games as well. So thanks for stopping by the stream. I'll finish this. I don't know if I'll finish it later tonight. Probably not. I'll probably finish it tomorrow. But just keep an eye out, for the notification when I stream. Thanks for stopping by. See ya.